Right, next job people, bomb site here of old plant pots. A lot of the daffs have come up what we call blind for the last few years. This particular weed, I don't know if anybody knows what it is, it's been a nightmare last year and it looks like it's going to be a bit of a nightmare this year. So I'm going to clear these out, and you know what I'm going to plant in them? I'm going to try planting. I've grown plenty of potatoes in my time, but these are jacket potatoes and they're just, let me show you. They're just starting to run to seed here. Can you see the shoot there? Now years ago, when I was with my granddad, he said just split them in half, boy. Make 2 potatoes of one. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split those apart. Normally you put these in a dark place. Cool dark place, keep them dark and they will sprout. They are not seed potatoes, but they are running to seed. So I'm going to get all these plants, all the weed out of here and plant in here as many potatoes as I can. Put them along the back there so that they're not in full sunlight, and just leave enough earth at the top to be able to earth over the top. We'll just see what we get, and hopefully we'll come back in 6 months and I won't need to go to the supermarket again. Well, that's if they grow. Well, I'm sure they will, because there's the shoots. First job, clear all this stuff out. It's nice to have the evenings at last coming out. We've got time to work during the evening as well as during the day. Double time. I love it. Now a lot of these are just kept for bedding plants and other plants, but it's no point. I can't get to, with the lockdown, I just can't get out to get plants, can I? You know, I'm too late to sow seeds. Had I known, had I thought we really were going for a lockdown, come about February, I could have grown some seeds. I've got the greenhouse, I've grown plenty of, I've actually grown plenty of seeds before, done loads and loads of allotment, had a big allotment in one of our family houses, my mum's house, a big area. So I've done plenty of this, plenty of growing potatoes, beans, peas, rhubarb. I've done all that when I was in my 20s. This is that plant. I'm just trying to get a root up so you guys, look how deep the root goes, look. I'm nearly down the bottom of the pot. It's like, almost like a sort of bulb, or what I would call a sort of rhizome shoot, but they are a pain. If they get in amongst other plants, they're a real pain to get out. There we go. There. Who knows what they are? I mean, they have a pretty yellow flower, but they are, to all intents and purposes, an annoying weed. But they happen to have the rim of an old clay pot. Clay is very good. So, waste not, want not, people. That one won't break. Yes, he will now. Nearly took my teeth out with that one. I don't know where that went. I'm hoping not to shovel this twice. Unless there's weeds in there, and there is. Right, let's go for the full inversion therapy. Crock stones in the bottom. Just sort through the loose weeds. I don't want any weeds in it. I only want potatoes. This is so easy to do, and I've got some runner beans as well, which I've kept some pots back, and they are actually in the potting shed, haven't germinated yet, but with this mild spell, this little bit of warm weather, they might actually start to shoot. Who knows where we're going with the old C19. We might all be growing our own stuff back like olden times. So I'm going to use the soil from these. I'll put the crock stones back, and I can use the rest to toss it. Yeah, it's like a bulb. No, that's actually an acorn, Graeme. That's a tree. There's that weed again. Get rid. I've got some old container and basket compost. About 2 years old, that can go in. I'm sure it's all okay. Keep the bags. Mix it up a bit. Will we get a crop from these? Come about July to September. Now this was a tub of very old daffodil bulbs, and as you can see, I put them out. They're small, but they're what we call blind. There are no flowers on them, so they've obviously had their time. So we're going to dump those, and that will give me more soil for the potatoes, because this is all clay, this soil. It's not this stuff I'm using. This would be loam and compost. I bought this in, shipped this in from another property. It's very, very good growing medium for flowers and stuff like that. See, all these bulbs, they've come to nothing this year. Been a strange year for daffodils. Now, this is what I've used just inside that pot. Any broken clay like this, and this one's had it, I break it all up, and it goes in the bottom of pots like that. That gives it a decent bit of crocking. So you've got drainage. I wonder if I put that in a vase. Do you think I'd get away with giving it to the wife? Do you think she'd know if I said it's an exclusive oriental plant? Nobody else has got it? I don't think so. Let's dig a bit of compost in with that as well. And in we go, loading time. Now, generally, just so people would know, you plant potatoes in rows, and you would dig a trench, let's say like this, pack it down deeper, much deeper than this, put your potato in there, just cover it over to there, okay, like that. Then it would start to shoot, and when it grows potatoes and spreads, you do not want the potato coming through the sides here, because they'll go green and be inedible. So as soon as you see them starting to shoot up like this, you earth them up like this until they're covered up. They need to be in the dark, if that makes sense. Then they grow higher, then they come in with I think it's a nice white flower. But always you just need to keep earthing them up. So if you look the way I've done it, listen, I've never grown potatoes in a pot like this before, is I've left some at the top, gap there, as you can see that, so that when they do shoot, probably get 2 potatoes, one in each corner, I can actually get some more soil and cover them up and keep the light off them, and that'll stop them going green. All pretty standard old school stuff. It's worth mentioning to people because they might not know that. And listen, the way the world's going, we might need to get back to all this growing. Thank God I've got a bit of knowledge left. I remember from years ago doing it. Next thing is be growing a load of seeds, hoping that we can get extra food in. So hopefully, guys, you can just see there where it's starting to grow. Here is a nice, very sharp knife. I'm going to put 2 in here to see how many I've got. I don't know if I get 2 in there, 1 in there. Let's see how many we've got first. That one can be split because there's shoots down there, look. That's how we used to do it years ago. Small seed potatoes are normally very soft with great big long trailing start of roots, and obviously I'm slightly behind the times here. I'm slightly behind the times. So we used to find, if you got the root like that, I've got to put it right this side, like that, root down, and that's probably where the eye is going to shoot from. Now if we get loads of rain, that actually rots the potatoes out. So we hope we don't get loads of rain. On the other hand, you don't want them drying out. All an experiment, people. But it's so exciting because I've done loads of this. Peas are about the worst one. You have to net them because the birds take all the peas. So you put a lot of work into netting. I've done all that. Cauliflowers I've grown. Lettuces years ago, I was about 19. It's just the way it was, I suppose, because my grandparents came out of the Second World War. And that's what it was. You just went and grew your own plants as a bonus, you know. Now it might be a necessity. So I'm putting them a good 6 inches down. And I'll tell you what, boys, they do actually taste different. They do, there's no question. Fresh veg, especially carrots, used to go carrots. They're fairly time consuming because you've got to thin them all out. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the lockdown. I can assure you I would be fishing. But there we go. Just going to pack that down a bit firmer. Okay, all that remains now, folks, water those in, save my plastic bag, clean my miniature Bowie knife. Won't be wandering around the supermarket with that one. The moon is up there, sort of 9/10 of a moon, full moon coming up. And being in the daylight, it comes out really well in the camera. The trouble is, it really annoys me because that is the giant Paul Beagle shark moon of April. That is the one I want to be going out fishing with in about 3 days' time, and I can't because I'm on lockdown. That is sad, that is. It's quite handy having a pond here. Instant water. There we go. Well, I just come in to have a break. No chance. The phone goes. Look at this lot. Look, this is something. See all this? That's all stuff that my wife's got to get to her sister, which goes for charity, because my wife works in a charity shop and a local church give her stuff, what I call stuff. So this is a man's fishing room. Look, very nice man's fishing room. Right, all books, 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 books. And then we've got, what the hell, is somebody living here or what? Is there a body in one of these? Oh, what is that? It's beaver. Uh-oh. So that's all got to be collected because we're on lockdown, we can't deliver it. We would go to London to deliver it, we can't, they can't come down. Nightmare. Been doing filming and stuff in here, as you know. Then the phone goes. One of the tenants, washing machine's blocked, get the plumber. One of the few plumbers still working, and comes into us, he says, yeah, I'll go in there. And while I was here, I thought, how old's the washing machine? We bought it, obviously, I couldn't remember. 3 years old, oh okay. Is the filter blocked? What filter? What filter? Have you not looked at the filter in 3 years? No. So I found a load of jigsaw pieces in there from her child. So we now know why we paid 80 quid or whatever for the washing machine repair that I ended up doing. So I thought, right, I better check my own washing machine. I haven't done that for about 5, 6 months because you don't know what's in there. And listen, I've got nuts, bolts, screws, fishing weights, everything goes in my pockets. And if the pockets aren't checked, you're going to have problems. So I thought, another job to show people. This is the way I do it in my kitchen. I don't need the detailers. I don't need the detailers telling me, I'm a washing machine man, you shouldn't do it like this. This is how I'm doing my washing machine for years. Kickboard, it's called a kickboard in the kitchen. Generally they pop off. This one pulls out, just like this. This piece just falls down. This piece falls down, as you can see. So there, guys, there is the washing machine filter down there for easy access. If people don't know this, some people might not have ever checked their washing machine filter, but there will be water in there. I find something that goes underneath, like a shallow tray, okay, is what can work here. Now, I've also put a piece of paper and left it there, so it tells me if there's any leaks, if I want to check if there's any leaks there. So I'm going to put this, watch, so it goes just under the leg there, it goes underneath. Now, you don't just whack this off straight away. There we go. Now watch. Water will probably come out of there. So, he says, there we go. See the water coming out? If you open this and it whooshes out, it's all over the floor. Yes, you can mop it up, but I figure it's much easier just to let it drain out like this. Now can you see all the grit coming out there? Hopefully you can with this camera. Here comes the water. You think it's not coming out? Yes, it is. Still coming out, still coming out, still coming out. Now, I can just make sure it doesn't run over here. Back to this, there we go. Whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsie. Oh my God, look at the state of that. Now I can clean that gunk and sludge out there with an old toothbrush. You just got to make sure you keep it in a separate box, otherwise the wife's going to be cleaning her teeth on the filthy toothbrush. So I keep an old toothbrush like this. I take this part, I drop it in there. I take the tray of water and you'll be able to see the, now look, oh, it's quite a bit there. Now that could have gone all over the floor. See the sludge? That's all sludge residue. There we go. That's cleaned it. It smells absolutely delightful. Now in there, you should just be able to see like a sort of propeller piece. It's called an impeller, I think, is the proper term for it. And that spins around. So I put my finger right down in there and just see. Now you don't have to do this. I do, just in case there are things like nails, and there have indeed been things like nails in there. So hopefully you can see in there. That spins around. And I just make sure it's got a little sort of spring. You'll feel tension there. I feel no nails, but that in there will be a residue of muck and that in there as well. So a bit of tissue paper in there. I go right around the whole thing. The main part you want to find are things like nuts, bolts, screws and stuff like that. That is what this is here for. There, look at the state of that. So that's been cleaned now. All I do here now, with my brush, run the tap, get your toothbrush, and you can clean all this stuff out. Look, bits of fluff. See all the bits of fluff, soap, lumps of soap and that come out. You can put gloves on if you're particularly paranoid about bugs and germs. I'm not. I do all sorts of things, drains, building work. It's not really a problem. It doesn't bother me. Some people were a bit nervous of stuff like this, but so you can see why a toothbrush gets right the way in there. Now, that's all clean and ready to go back. Dead easy to do. So there you can see all the rubbish that's come out. And what I do, I've got a filter here. So I just gently flush this down here because I don't want to block the drains either. So back down here we can put that filter back in, make sure it goes in nice and smooth on the threads, don't cross thread it, and do it up as tight as you want there. And again, dry up any damp there. All that remains after that is to put either your kickboard back, which might have clips. In our case it doesn't, it just rests there, and you think, oh, job done. Wrong. I like to check the drums spinning like that, and then wifey likes to get this out. As you can see, that's filthy in there, and generally these have a release clip on them. You can slide it out, use some bleach if you want to clean it, or some stuff like this, some scour, and get that as clean as you can. It's where you put the soap in. You can see, obviously, everybody's washing machine gets used a lot. These just pop out like this, and then I find on my particular model, this tray, so you can see it slides out there on a runner. And you can see, I'll show you. God, it shows you this lockdown's driving me mad when I'm doing these jobs. You can see in there, that can be cleaned there. Of course it gets dirty again, and this can be cleaned as well. Same thing. In the sink with it, and a bit of scour, washing up liquid, whatever you want to put in there. And then we're just going to clean that out using the toothbrush. This is all soap, all congealed soap in there. This is what blocks your drains up as well. When you use either liquid soap, or you get a choice of liquid or powdered soap, you can see all this cleans off. It looks disgusting, it is disgusting, it's got to be done. Just make sure you wash your hands when you finish. And look in there. Not a pretty sight, people. Look at that. Oh yes, clean your teeth with that one, eh? Ho, ho, ho. Another job crossed off the list. My God, I should hopefully get so much fishing from brownie points. It should be unbelievable. Let's hope the fish appreciate it. All these jobs I'm about to do. Now, just to show you, look here. All this junk, all this rubbish. Look, look at the length of that. What is that? Is there a fish hook on the end of it? that's going to block your washing machine up. That's why I also put this in here, because those fibres, look, if I pull this up, look, would suck it all down the drains. So I just pull these out, all that gunk, the water drains out, and I keep the rubbish there. I've cleaned all this. That can go back on. You'll have a little slide. I'm only talking about the ones I've got here. It just slides back in like this. Click, it goes click. We just lift it up over there. There's a little slot there for it to go. And wife is going to be so pleased when she opens that, look. So there you go, guys. Yet another job done. Not really. I'm sure there's going to be others. But if you want to clean a filter, that's the way I clean my filter. It's worth doing every 3 months, I reckon. So this is what I'm talking about. Never have I been so grateful to get a job. A whole decorating job. And she started it yesterday with the wife. Empty. Been rolling up all the carpets. This one's obviously we've got to start on. Carpet man's been round yesterday. Priced up for the carpet, so obviously I'm trying to paint. If I spill on the carpet, it's not a problem. I've already pinched a piece of it, cut a piece out, a decent piece. I'm going to have a piece for my boat, and I'm going to have a piece for the back of my car. But this is weird, look, come through here. I quite like decorating, I don't have a problem with it. Come through, so I'm walking along. This is funny, this shows you a builder's, Billy Builder bodge up. So I'm walking along like this, wife's in there painting. So I go, what the? Wait till I show you this. I pulled the carpet up here and just looked, I thought, what on earth has happened to this concrete floor? I pulled this up after the car, and there is a very, very good quality finish. Now, somebody can go through, what's that? Best part of, well, there's insulation there, 3 inches of concrete floor. Just splodge a load of concrete in there and walked away and left it. Well, look, you could over there you can break your ankle on that. I can only assume it's some form of builder or plumber that's trying to access a pipe here. I don't know. I've never in my life seen a hole like that. So, I phoned the owner, well, not actually the owner, the letting agent. Do you want me to do that? Yes, I got some sand here and some cement, luckily. The last of my sand and cement, and it is actually screed sand. Bit of cement, I'm going to level that off. I cannot believe it, that somebody's just left a massive hole in the middle of the lounge. And how come nobody's complained about it? It's weird, isn't it? So this one, as you can see, the paint's taken on this. I tried to coat and gloss the doors. I've tried the yellow. Yellow, I was told by my sign writer, who used to do all my sign writing for my property signs. He said yellow is the worst colour to paint over. But I've got magnolia, which is sort of hint, so I'm just going to give that a trial there to see if it'll go. And of course, I've got a ladder. All decorators know that's the most horrible part to get up to there. Up right in the well of the hallway. So, there you go, guys, let's crack on. Yet another job. I like to mix it dry first. That way all the grains of cement will go in amongst the sand and all the ballast and all the sharp sand. So you can see, if that was wet, that would just clog. I like to do it. This is the way I do it, it's the way I do it. You don't have to do it this way, you do it whatever way you want. This is the way I do it. And my concrete sets as hard as the next guy's. Right, bit of water. Clean all this sink up, obviously, before we go. I think wifey's in tomorrow to give me a hand. Same old story, I said it before, it's like ground bait with fishing. Be careful when you put it in, because you can put it in but you can't take it out. That's water. Yeah, the gloss is okay there. It's just a rental flat, somebody else. That'll do the job nicely. Float, float, float. There we go. Now, I purposely haven't made that overly wet because I don't want it soaking through to the gentleman below. It's kind of hard to believe that nobody's done this. Now, when you've filled in the gap, I can only do it as I've always been shown. I won't say talk, guys, because I'm not a bricklayer, but I've done enough that I know it sets. I've overfilled it, take off the surplus like this, get rigged back in the bucket. You never know when you want a piece of wet concrete. I do now. And then I tap it, because I want to, you don't want to do it with a piece of wood, obviously, board, and that's called tamping it. And what that does, if you look between the ridges here, is what we call raises the fat. It brings the sort of water to the surface. And you get a better float off with it. You see that? It's coming up. It doesn't matter, it's under a carpet, for goodness sake, but this is a job that obviously the plumber or the builder, whoever did this job, I can only guess it's this radiator. What a bodge up. Should have done this. How long is this taking? 10 minutes? And then just now, I use a tail or a point here, whatever you want, I don't know what they call it. From one side to the other. Because I've got that water, flicking these stones off, because I've got that water at the top where I've tamped it up, I can use a smooth float off there. Like this. There's a bit of funny bit there. And then just, if you wanted, you just do that. Each time. And then lightly there. Just there. Just wipe it clean. That's all I do. That's the way I do it. Now, is that not a neater job than the ankle breaker hole that the guy left? Now I can brush off this around the edges when it's dry, and when the guy comes to fit the carpet, he puts new underlay and it's all lovely and flush. Job done. Bob's your uncle, Charlie's your aunt. Now, I've got to get rolling and get a start painting. Thought it's worth showing you anyway, people. That's the most important thing. The sandwiches. Second most important thing, the radio and a decent channel, because we have rubbish radio in England. We don't get any rock channels or anything. Kerrang's the only one I know. Can't get it on that one.